Hi, I'm Jeremy with Rockland Wheels, here with the Royal Enfield Classic 500, or known as the Bullet 500 for many years as well. This is what we think of when we think Royal Enfield. This is the bike that you drive if you're a certified badass. This thing is just cool. It's got the style, it's got the curves, it's got that exposed rear fender, just things that are unique to Royal Enfield, how they're doing them today. And the coolest thing, it's not a throwback bike. This bike could trace its lineage all the way back to 1931. And of course, it's been changed over the years, but it's evolved to this motorcycle we see today. So they didn't go way off and then remake something completely new. This is what you get when you think of a Royal Enfield. What's happened in the last few years, so we've been a dealer from 2009, and I'm very familiar with this bike. But the cool things that they've added is the production value. So we're seeing the paints and the consistencies in the bikes being much, much better. And they've also upgraded the brakes. So now we have a front and rear disc brake where we used to have a rear drum brake. And they've also integrated ABS. So nice features for this stripped down motorcycle. So cool things about these bikes is they're easy to drive. This is a 412-pound motorcycle. You can throw it around super easy, and you have kind of an enduro seating position. Your knees are up here on the gas tank, your legs are straight under you, and these were bikes that in India, they use these as off-road motorcycles. They fit them with bigger tires, and they do take them off-road. So in terms of the flexibility of the motorcycle, it's definitely there. The engine itself is a 500cc single piston thumper. It's a push rod engine putting out 27 horsepower, quite a bit of torque, a nice smooth transmission, hydraulic lifters, so this thing is nice and easy to live with. And having driven these for quite a few years, the biggest thing that you'll notice with this bike is you're pushing it, you're having fun, you're putting a smile on your face, and then you look down at the speedometer and you're not even breaking the speed limit. This is a cool bike to drive that really transitions and doesn't have a pigeonhole demographic. I've had guys come in and say, hey man, I learned how to drive one of these bikes in the 1950s, and then you get the guy who's just getting his license that this bike appeals to him. This is a timeless motorcycle. It is what we think of when we think of a classic bike is this shape. It's this Springer seat. It's that big fender on the back. Just nice and simple bikes. And Royal Enfield is the only brand that stayed true and kept making these motorcycles. So keeping true to tradition, Royal Enfield did fit this bike with a traditional kickstart. You do have the electric start, so it is still a modern bike, no worries. And that's a fuel injection engine. So it's not a hard bike to live with. It's not a hard bike to maintain. So it just exudes style, yet it's an easy bike to live with. And then the difference is, if you take this bike and you go to the gas station, be prepared to be there for a while. Everybody's gonna ask you, hey, did you build that thing? Oh my God, that thing looks so good for how old it is. It's a conversation piece. And it's probably one of the only motorcycles that your wife will let you take it in the wintertime and put in your living room because it's just that pretty.
And this bike is about style, it's not just about nostalgia, it's also about being true to what it was and what it's always been. And it's definitely a comfortable bike with a very distinctive exhaust note. Something that is quintessential Royal Enfield. Now this bike isn't something that you're gonna buy to break any speed records, but it cruises along and lofts along without any problems. And definitely I've driven my fair share of these classic Bullets, and you can feel the refinement that went into this one. You can feel that it's just that much better than what it used to be with that new type of manufacturing. And it's a nice solid little bike, very light, you know, tipping the scales just over 400 pounds. It's not a bike that's gonna be hard to maneuver or toss its weight around.
So the gauges on this are simple, to the point. We've got our speedometer in there. No need for a tachometer, no need for a gas gauge, no need for anything fancy. Just down to basic, stripped down bike. and it gives you a real sense of like a cockpit airplane military feel. And that's what they're really going for on this bike, is just all that style. Guys who know Royal Enfield talk about this sound.